Hi, everyone, and welcome to Peak Performance Conversations, where we discuss career excellence and life mastery. My name is Kolufelo Mavila, and I'm joined today by our resident leadership and talent strategist, Chantal Kading. Hi, Chantal.
Good morning, Kolo. Sawubona, beautiful to see you. We've chosen today's topic very specifically. Currently, we're finding that burnout is way too common in business and in people's personal lives. And so our reframe, very specifically chosen, it's time to burn out. Kolo, based on your research, what is defined as burnout?
Okay, so burnout is defined as a syndrome that arises because of chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. An interesting fact, I found out that the term burnout was actually coined by an American psychologist, Herbert Freudenberger, and it was originally used to describe the consequences of severe stress associated with what they call people helping professions. So kind of like your doctors and nurses. And of course, today we know that the term is now ubiquitous and can be applied to most, if not all, our professions, including supply chain.
It's incredible to think that those who are helping others suffered first and predominantly. The question comes down to, you mentioned supply chain. How has it specifically impacted the supply chain industry professionals?
Okay, so my research revealed that there's been actually an increase in the number of supply chain professionals that actually consider themselves to be on the brink of burnout. And it mainly has to do with the environment. So we're talking interruptions, uncertainty, and economic shocks. So a survey that was actually done found that 86% of professionals said that in 2022 they saw an increase in their workload, with more than half reporting high levels of stress, burnout, or even both.
Very true. I think we've seen so many during the pandemic with that uncertainty. Many companies did not replace roles, which meant the workload of two was just split amongst one person, or in many cases, no replacements were found for employees. The second element that you touch on so beautifully is regarding the pandemic, people moved to home offices or their dining room tables, depending on their situation. But what that meant is that the boundaries between personal and professional life were absolutely smashed. We went from, yes, you don't got to drive to work, but people on the office early mornings, leaving late evenings, and they always online button available on their PCs. So let's discuss burnout. In the people shop context and through our peak performance research, what we found, there's a couple of key elements that make up burning up. The first one is starting with me, the I, the self. And particularly in that context, we kind of break that word down into M for manifesting and E for excellence. M is really around manifesting, means to bring into creation. It means that you have the power to change and transform your life. You have the power of creation. The second part refers to excellence. And excellence, I think, is sometimes so misunderstood, maybe even overused in the business world. But excellence really refers to non-perfectionism. It really is about being able to tap into your fullest and your truest potential.
Oh, and sorry to interrupt, but I remember one of our sessions, you actually said something I really liked about how, it's not about competing against other people, but competing against your future self, that idealized image that you have of yourself.
Beautiful. I think the inspiration for that was the book by Matthew McConaughey called Green Light, that speaks that he said he does not compete with other people. He competes with his future self, the man he wants to be in 2 years or 5 years from now. And that's the part what excellence saying is tapping into your truest potential, into all the talents you have inside of you and reaching that fullest potential. The second element that we kind of look at is this illusion, again, the reframe of work-life balance. I believe that work-life balance is an absolute illusion because oftentimes it's like a seesaw that you kind of, when you kind of move more into your workspace, you sacrifice your personal life. When you spend more time personal life, you sacrifice work. And so what we believe in terms of burning up, it's being able to integrate your personal and professional life. It's about aspiring for personal mastery and career excellence. and finding places and ways that you're able to live the fullest version of yourself, but integrating these two spheres of our lives that we tend to operate in. When we look at those kind of spheres, so kind of taking it one level deeper, these two spheres or planes we play in, the first is our personal life. And so over the next 3 months, we'll be going through these different elements. And first kind of saying is, what makes up the me? What is required in order for me to bring my personal life into balance? And the 4 pillars of that. The second part then, or the second sphere, is professional life, looking at career excellence. And then we have a peak performance quotient, again built on 4 different pillars that will help in order to enhance your impact in the workplace, but also the fulfillment of that, managing stresses and strains in a more constructive way in order to reach your best life. And the last element comes down to leadership. It really is about saying is, how do we make our organizations more purpose-driven and more values-led and lived? We too oftentimes see values on websites and on boards within companies' walls, but really it's about saying is, how do we stand up more for what matters to us and be able to create more humanity within business? Kolo.
Thank you so much, Chantal. I'm really, really looking forward to more sessions. And I would also like to thank our guests for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.
Beautiful.